Welcome back to Beckler Guitars and Repairs, and today we're checking out an Epiphone that I received on a trade. So just checking out the case here. It's a very nice case. It came in mint condition. Alright, this is a 2015 limited edition Joe Bonamassa Epiphone Les Paul Standard in Inverness green. So there's a couple things that make this guitar special. A big one is the pickups. So these are actually Gibson pickups in an Epiphone. Burstbucker 2 and 3. It's also got a real Bigsby B70, which is pretty rare on Epiphones. It's got his iconic different color knobs there, stock from factory, and the green finish is pretty cool. Good looking. So this has a mahogany body, a thick maple cap for a top, and the neck is a special kind of a profile. It's very thick. It's kind of like a thick D profile, like on a Les Paul 1959. It's also got the Grover machine heads. So today we're gonna take it apart, see what makes it tick, and give it a shot. I just wanted to quickly go over the case candy that came with the guitar. So it comes with the COA, which is in a nice bound book here, and comes with a picture of Joe and a certificate of authenticity with the serial number and a signature from Joe and the president of Epiphone. So that's kind of a cool touch. It also comes with Epiphone strap locks that you can install. And then I think this is just your standard stuff that comes with Epiphone. Got a sticker, a guarantee from Epiphone, owner's manual, a lifetime guarantee from the Grover machine heads that are on the guitar, and a big old Epiphone poster with all the different models, and on the other side just a bunch of pictures of the guitar. So it's kind of cool. The guitar itself is in really nice shape. No scratches or dings anywhere. And just getting it, there's maybe a couple pick scratches on the pick guard. The frets are in good shape. There's no divots or any sign of wear. And on the back, there might be a few light finish scuffs or handling marks, but nothing notable. Wow, the neck feels really different. So it's kind of got like a D profile instead of a C, and it's very chunky. Out of the box, the action's a little bit higher than I would like, so I can adjust that as we go through the demo. But no buzzing anywhere. The neck looks nice and straight as well. I'm just going to check how much relief's in the neck. So it looks like the truss rod's set pretty much exactly where it needs to be. There's just a touch of relief in the neck. I'll just check the action at the first fret. Yeah, action's good, so when you push down on the 3rd fret, the first strings pretty much rest against the 1st fret. So that's pretty much how you want it. Action at the 12th is a little bit high. So that's something we can adjust. Might as well just do it right now, actually. So just quickly lowering it a little closer to where I like it, which is it's nice when you can get it really low, but sometimes that's not realistic for a lower priced instrument. Something like Gibson's, they go through Gibson's Plex system, which is a machine that's designed to make all the frets perfectly level. So that's why Gibson actions can get quite a bit lower. But a Chinese-made like factory instrument is not going to have the same level of attention put to it as a Gibson. Okay, so action's still pretty low, no buzzing anywhere now, and that's about as low as we can get it without getting any buzz. So let's just check what that is. At the 12th, we're looking at, you know, about 2 millimeters, and on the low, and then on the high E, we're looking at about 1.5. So a little bit higher than I typically like it, not by much. Still very playable, and still would be considered low action. I really like my action very low, but that's just my personal preference. Now that we have our setup, why don't we take some specs? Alright, so the guitar weighs in at 9 pounds 12 ounces. So it's a heavy, sturdy guitar. Pickup is reading 8.38. Our neck position is reading 8.18. And the middle position is reading 4.11. So this is a Burstbucker 2, I believe, in the neck, and a Burstbucker 3 in the bridge, and those are Gibson USA pickups. The neck profile is definitely more of a D type of a profile. You see how it just flattens out on the bit on the top, and that continues on to the 12th fret. So kind of a unique profile. It's feels very chunky as well. .69 at the first fret and 2.86 at the 12th. .914 at the first, so yeah, that's quite chunky. And a 1.028 at the 12th. So a consistently chunky neck. Just a quick look at our truss cavity. Everything looks as it should. You can see the mahogany wood behind the paint there. And our truss rod looks nice and untouched. the grain on this rosewood's really nice too. It's kind of got nice streaks to it, and it is authentic rosewood, so it's kind of a nice bonus on this example. Okay, so the strings appear to be in decent shape. Lots of life left, so I'm just gonna keep them on and reuse them. It's especially annoying to restring a Bigsby, so I've just loosened the strings to get at the pickups here. So here's our neck pickup. You can see it's Burst Bucker 2 Gibson. And then have a look at the route here. So, okay, so it looks like you can see it's a long neck tenon, which is a high-end spec for Gibson guitars. And they've even put shielding paint inside the cavity, which is something that Gibson usually doesn't even do, so that's a nice spec right there. Just trying to see if we can get a idea of how thick the maple top is, but it's covered in paint and I don't really want to mess with that. So let's have a look at our bridge pickup cavity. So there is our Burst Bucker 3 Gibson pickup, and it's got a date on it of 2014, so that makes sense. And okay, so if we have a good look in the cavity here, we can see there's a ridge. That's probably where the maple cap goes to and the mahogany begins, right in there. So it's a decent thickness for the maple cap. It's probably about the same as a Gibson, so that's cool. It's got a curved maple top. It's nice and thick, and a mahogany body with the Gibson Burst Bucker 2 and Burst Bucker 3 pickups, with a real Bigsby B70 trim. Okay, we've got the screws out. Let's have a look at the cavity. Try to get a good look here. So it looks like they're using full-size pots, which is a nice feature. A lot of Epiphones just have those little cheap mini pots. And the only difference is the bigger pots just seem to last a lot longer, a little bit better made. We've got some interesting looking capacitors here. They look high quality. They're 0.22 capacitors, and the solder job looks very well done. And the entire cavity is covered in shielding paint, which is a nice touch as well. And have a look at the switch. So it looks just like your standard Gibson switch. They're not using the import style, which is more of like a box with 3 tabs on the back. I've seen that in plenty of Epiphones as well. So it's nice that they're using the higher quality switch. So yeah, it looks like all this is Gibson specs, but in an Epiphone. So you got your high-end electronics, pickups, you've got your Bigsby, your nice specs for the wood, where it's mahogany and maple with a thick cap, and your Grover tuners. So very nicely spec guitar. Okay, I just wanted to check the tuning stability with the Bigsby, which can be challenging even on high-end guitars with a Bigsby or a tremolo system. So I just want to show how it's tuned here from the start. This is a pretty high accuracy tuner. It's I find it to be more accurate than a Snark. So just make sure we're perfectly in tune before we start. So there's E perfectly in tune, A's in tune, D's in tune, G's in tune, B's in tune, and E's in tune. So let's hammer on this Bigsby and just see how it goes. So I'm already hearing some clicking at the nut, so that's not a great sign. That just means that there's strings moving around in there not very fluidly, and it's probably going to affect the tuning. But alright, I'm going up and down pretty aggressively, so let's just try that. So okay, the E's like a half a step down. The A's half a step down. The D's half a step down. F's half a step down. Same with B. And E's almost half a step down. So using our Bigsby actually caused it to go a half a step out of tune. It's not great. This might be, it looks like this guitar has hardly been played, so it might be it just needs to adjust a little bit. So I'm just gonna go ahead and play it a little bit more, and using the Bigsby and tuning it up, and I'm gonna try again with the tuning test in about 10 minutes here to see if that helps anything. Okay, I've stretched the strings for good measure and I've been working the trem for about 10 minutes and retuning and just trying to get it stable. So let's just try again one more time. So just showing you that we're in tune: A, D, G, B, E. Alright, so it's pretty aggressive with it again. Let's just check the tuning. So a lot better this time. The E is totally in. So is the A. The D's a little sharp, but it might have been to begin with. The G's almost in. The B's right in. And the E's a little sharp. But very close to being in tune. So stretching the strings and working in the trem a little bit definitely helped a lot, and I assume it would just get better with time as it's worked in. So overall, pretty good tuning stability after I worked it in a little bit. So I also really like this color. You don't really see green guitars very often, and this is definitely a nice shade of green. I feel like it's a missed opportunity that they didn't use like a green translucent finish, so you could see the maple, the grain of the maple on the top. That would have been nice, but maybe Joe had a reason he wanted to do it like that. He was copying a guitar that he really liked or something. Alright, so let's go ahead and plug it in. Okay, we're plugged into the Del Fuego 22 watt tube amp through the Bugera PS1 Power Soak attenuator using a 212 cab, and we're using the Holy Grail reverb and the Toros servo as a boost pedal. So I'm just gonna go through the tones, play a little bit of bluesy stuff that Joe's known for. So I have the amp set pretty low, and the Burst Bucker 3 is already pushing the amp to almost to breakup mode already. So I'm just gonna try to get a nice clean sound. So that's the bridge. All right, let's try the neck. Back to the bridge. Okay, so middle just for fun. All right, so yeah, the pickups sound really nice. Gibson burst buckers, which they put on their really high-end models, so sounds great. Just gonna try it with a little bit more crunch, so I'm just gonna turn up the servo gain and boost it, and that should really work our amp into overdrive. So I'm just gonna try the bridge pickup here. I try the neck with some more distortion. Middle position. Okay, final thoughts on the 2015 Epiphone Limited Edition Joe Bonamassa Les Paul Standard in Inverness Green. Well, by the specs alone, it's a really great guitar. With the Grover tuners, the Burstbucker 2, the Burstbucker 3, the B70 Bigsby, the high-end electronics, the shielding paint in every cavity, and the long neck tenon with the thick maple cap, the rosewood fingerboard. It's spec'd out a lot like a Gibson, and it sounds really, really good too. The humbuckers sound amazing. The tuning stability was a bit of an issue for me. I think that's just because it hasn't been worked in yet. I think whoever had this guitar last barely played it and it just kind of sat in the case, and the tremolo didn't have a chance to be worked in. After I stretched the strings and played it for about 10 minutes using the tremolo a lot, it seemed to stay in tune a lot better. So yeah, overall it's well spec'd, very nice guitar, maybe a tad heavy. It was almost 10 pounds, 9 pounds, 12 ounces or so. So a little bit on the heavier side. Some people like that, some people don't. Definitely something to be aware of on this model. I think they're all quite heavy. But in terms of playability and sound, they're great and very well spec'd. Comes in this very nice case as well. It's kind of a molded case, Epiphone case with nice latches and that pink interior. So if you can find one of these at a decent price, yeah, definitely jump on it. I think it's worth a buy. Okay, that'll be it for today for Beckler Guitars and Repair. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.